And I just want to say good morning. It's good to be here with you all. I see some faces that are new. I see some faces that we saw last week. And then, of course, I see a bunch of friendly, familiar faces that we're so happy to have here this morning. And let me just start off by saying, isn't it good to have family? Isn't it good to have family? And that's really what we are here. We're the family of God. We're a body, we're a church, but we're together as a family. And, you know, some of us may not have a lot of blood family. Maybe your family has slowly decreased down and you don't have a lot of relatives that are blood. But let me tell you, you have the biggest family in the world because you have us. And it's awesome that we have brothers and sisters and people that have stepped in to be like parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts. And I got kids here that I call my nieces. They're not my nieces, but they call me uncle. It's cool. I mean, this is the family. This is what it's about. And we need family. Why? Because they're going to be there for us. This church is going to be there for you when you need it. Why? Because that's your family. And family's always there. You don't have to worry about, am I going to be alone? Am I going to make it through? You don't have to worry about, is somebody going to be there for me in my hard times? You don't have to worry about that. Why? Because we're here for you. If you let us know that you're in need, we will be there for you. But here's the thing, we're not psychics. You got to let us know, okay? But we're here for you. And I hope that some of y'all are praying. If you were here last week, we asked you just to come and see. Come and see what we're about. Just come and enjoy all the ministries. We don't want you to do anything. If you're new here, we don't want your money. We don't want your membership. We just want you to come into this place. We just want you to see what we're about, try all the different ministries, and just pray. Is God leading you to a place like this? Does God want you to be a part of a church family like this? And if He is, let me just tell you right now, we want you. We want you here. And it's going to be an exciting couple weeks because we're going to just share everything about our church, what we do, what we're about, what we expect, what you should expect from us, and how it really should be, how we should operate as a church, not just here at this physical church, but as the church body. Because if you become membership, you're not just part of this body, you're part of the big body. And churches have to work together, and it's just so much that there's so much to be excited about. And we were starting this series called Are You With Us? Because at the end, we want to know, are you with us? And pray about it. September 12th, I was corrected. If you were here first service, it's not August 29th. I'm so sorry. I looked at my calendar. Calendar's wrong, okay? September 12th, at the end of this series, we're going to have our join class. And I know a lot of you were looking around and you saw these cool t-shirts, right? And these are the church shirts. And so if you saw this and you're like, how do I get one of those? You join our church. And when you join our church, we give you a t-shirt. Why? Because membership cards are boring. Okay? Membership cards, you leave them somewhere, you forget about them. This you get to wear, right? You get to wear this and you get to show everybody that you're part of a family, that you're part of this church. And it has our vision on the back, and it's so wonderful. And then maybe some of y'all saw like, oh, I saw a white shirt, and that shirt's cool. You know, you want this shirt? You got to serve here. And if you get a part of our growth track, you'll go through the process, and when you graduate the serve, you not only get to serve in this church, but you get this cool shirt. And if you're like, man, I didn't get one of those shirts, that's because you're not serving here. You don't get one unless you serve. So sorry. That's just the rules. I make them, don't break them. You know what I mean? All right, look, we're excited. And of course, here's the thing. Maybe you're at the place where you're like, I'm not sure I'm ready for church membership yet. I'm not sure if I'm at a place where I'm ready to dive in and commit and to do all that. No problem. Let me tell you what happens if you don't join here. We love you anyways. We're going to love you no matter what. You get rights to everything in this place, whether you're a member or not. Why? Because it don't belong to us anyways. This is all God's stuff. And so if you're not ready, don't worry about it. The only thing you don't get is a t-shirt. And if that bothers you, we'll give you one anyways. You know, look, there's nothing to be upset about. Look, all we want is to love on you, to minister to you. And if you're ready, we want you to become part of our family. That's all we ask. We will love you no matter if you're in membership with us or not. We will give you the hug at the door. Rather, you don't have to come and give us stuff to earn our love. Our love is free. And why is it free? Because God's love's free. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to be a vision of God to the people that are here. We would love nothing more for each and every one of you to become part of our church And we're going to show how much we care about that and how much we want that. But if you're not ready, don't stress over it. There's no requirements to come into this place. See, today's message is just about church life. Because if we're going to be a part of a church, we're going to have to understand how to function and live within church. Because church is no different than a lot of things. The only difference is we have Jesus Christ involved. And so we have problems and we have struggles and we have ups and downs, but we have a power that helps us through those things. And so what does it mean to be part of a church? What does it mean to belong to Restoration Church? And if you choose to be part of this church family, we want you to join and be a part of our vision. That's why we put it on the back of the t-shirt. That's why we painted it on the walls. You have to join in with us and our vision if you're a part of this church. And so what does that mean? That means you want to restore lives. That means you want to help people come to salvation. That means you have to love people and give second chances. And what does second chance mean? It means if you mess up and you come to me, you're good. I'm not going to hold it against you. You're not going to hold it against me. Why? Because God's grace is endless. And if His grace is endless, so does ours. And so you get second chance after second chance. And so it doesn't matter if you're hurt or if you're broken or if you're lost or if you have a past. It doesn't matter where you come from. You come into this place, you're loved. And you're welcomed. Why? Because God welcomes you and loves you. And so you have to be about that too. If you want to come to this church, you want to be part of our family, you have to love everybody as well. Oh no, not that, right? Not forcing me to love. It means that you'll support the church through what? Participation. Why would you become a member of a place you don't want to go to? You know what I mean? How many people have a gym membership that they pay every month but they never go? Let me save you some money. Walk the block, okay? Look, I'm just saying, you're paying $50 a month to go to a place that you never go to, and it's a waste. But we don't want you to join our church just to get a t-shirt. We don't want you to come to this place and say, yeah, I want to be a part of your church, but then never show up. We want you to be here on Sunday mornings. Hello, ladies' night tomorrow, our Restoration Women. Everybody going to come to that, 7 o'clock? Okay, I know they're kicking off some new stuff. We want you to pray for us. Yes, pray for us. Why? Because we need prayer too. The leadership, the members, the pastors, the people, everybody. We want you to support us with your resources. That's not just money. I know money in church is always kind of mixed together, and that's mixed emotions, but your resources is your time. Yeah, we want you to give your time. Come up here and help out. You know what the easiest thing to do is to walk into a place and go, can I help you? Can I help you? This morning, I showed up this morning, and I started walking around. This place was a wreck. And I'm like, oh, I got the broom, I got this, I'm running back and forth. David shows up, he goes, can I help you? And I said, yeah, you're going to regret you said that. Get the Swiffer, we got to go over here. We're sweeping up mud from the construction workers. And Tina shows up, and she's like, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, get the toilet paper and the paper towels and, start checking all the bathrooms. And it's easy, but that's it. That's how you support. All you do is walk up and go, hey, can I help? And it's like, yeah, you can definitely help. Hebrews 10:25 says it this way, and let us not neglect to meet together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of His return is drawing near. Yeah, we want you to come and see. We want you to get involved and participate. Why? Because you need fellowship, but you need fellowship with the right people. You need fellowship with people that are going to be there for you, that are going to lift you up, that are going to help you, grow you, and mature you in the right way. And so, yeah, come up here all the time. Be involved all the time. Participate with us. See, when you become a part of this church, you also become what? A part of the body of Christ. And that's bigger than church membership, is being a part of the body of Christ. 1 Corinthians does a great job, and we're going to go a little bit through this chapter just to understand church life, but Paul does a great job of breaking down what it means to be a part of a church, and I hope that this hits home with everybody. 1 Corinthians 12 through 13 says this, the human body has many parts, but the many parts make up one whole body. So it's the body of Christ. Some of us are Jews, some of us are Gentiles, some of us are slaves, some of us are free, but we have been baptized into one body by one Spirit, and we all share the same Spirit. And I love this part of this passage because it really brings home the one thing that we really love about God and we try to push here. And that thing that we love is that we are all part of one body, but we're different. And I love the fact that we're different. I would hate church if everybody was like me. If everybody had to be like me to be a part of this church, that would be so boring. I thank God all the time that we are different, that we look different, we act different, we have different personalities, different skills, different talents, because if we all had the same talent, that would be boring because we'd all be fighting for the same guitar, and it's my guitar, okay? And I just think about it. If everybody was like you, it would be boring in church. And if everybody was just like us, we would have some problems within church. And so I thank God that we're different, that we have different experiences and backgrounds and likes. And so, yes, we don't want a church full of one type of person. We want a church of every type of person, from every different walk, from every different background. And we want a mixture of everything. So if you're worried that like, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to fit in, yes, you are. Because you bring something that we don't have. The reason that the church body is strong and what makes us strong is what? Our differences. That's what makes us strong, because you look at what I'm strong at may be your weakness. And what I'm weak at may be your strength. And so when we work together, guess what? We're unstoppable. But on our own, we're very stoppable. Why? Because we can only go as far as our weakness. As soon as we get to that place, that's it. That's all I can do. Why? Because I'm not good at it. But when the body is one and when the body works together, it is unstoppable, serving what? An unstoppable God. And that's what we should really be after, is an unstoppable God and an unstoppable church working together as one. 1 Corinthians goes on and it says it this way. Yes, the body has many different parts, not just one part. If the foot says, I'm not part of the body because I'm not a hand, that does not make it any less part of the body. If the ear says, I'm not part of the body because I'm not an eye, would that make it any less a part of the body? If the whole body were an eye, how would it hear? If your whole body were an ear, how would you smell anything? I love that the Bible takes care of it all. See, knowing this makes it easy for me and for everybody that's here on staff and all the pastors and all the leadership. It makes it easy for us to stand up here and say, we want you here at Restoration Church. We want you here, and not only do we want you here, we need you here. And why do we need you here? Because you're a part of the piece that fits the puzzle. You're part of the body, and we need all the parts to make that body. And so we need everybody here. You have gifts and talents inside of you that we might be missing here. And so we're trying to smell, and we ain't smelling anything because we don't have the nose. And you might be the nose. You might be the ear. You might be the finger. You might be the hand. You might be... We need everybody. Why? Because when we work together, we complete the body. And without you, let me just be honest, we're missing something. If you're not part of the body, then we have a hole, we have a gap, and we're missing something. So it's not hard for me to stand up here as the pastor and go, yeah, we need you. Because you have gifts and talents and everything that you need, we need. See, 1 Corinthians goes on in verse 18, it says, but our bodies have many parts, and God has put each part just where He wants it. I need you to understand, I didn't want to be a pastor. God placed me here. I never grew up with a desire to be a pastor. I never sat down and was just like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a pastor. But you have to submit to what God wants you to do. He's going to place you where you need to be. You may not want to be something in this church, but God might place you there. And you just have to go, look, God, if this is your will, then that's what I'm going to do. Because He has ultimate say. And then it goes on to say, how strange a body would be if it only had one part. We'd just be a big nose hopping down the street. You know what I mean? Look, yes, there are many parts, but only one body. The eye can never say to the hand, I don't need you. The head can't say to the feet, I don't need you. I guarantee you the one thing that you'll never hear out of this place is we don't need you. You'll never hear that come from my mouth. You'll never hear that come from any of the leadership mouth. Matter of fact, quite the opposite. There's some leadership in here that would die for you right now. I bet you we could go outside, draw a circle, put you in the middle, put two of the pastors on the other side, and they would wrestle each other for you right now. They need help so bad. You know, I'm just saying, look, we need you. We need you because you bring so much that we're missing. Sometimes we struggle with this very thought, though, that I could be a part of something, that I have something to bring to the table, that, man, I can't be important in a church, right? How am I going to fit in? What would they want from me? I don't offer anything. And we struggle with this because we feel like what we have is not enough. Let me tell you, God has placed in you exactly what you need to accomplish what He has set out for you. And He actually put it inside of you before the foundations of the earth. He knew exactly what you were going to do, and He gave you those gifts and those talents so that you could fulfill the purpose and calling on your life. And you go, well, I don't know what that is, and I don't know what my calling is. Good, we have a class for that. It's called our Serve class. It's not just about giving you a job. It's about discovering what God wants from you, what He has designed you and created you for, because everybody has a purpose. And I just want to remind you of a story, and I think I've shared this before, and it changed my whole perspective on people and how they serve. And we were in a conference, and this guy comes up and he goes, look, man, I hear you say that you want everybody to participate and help and to serve, and I don't have anything to offer. I have no talents. I can't sing. I can't write. I can't do this. I can't teach. What do you want me to do? And he goes, well, what do you do for a living? He goes, well, I'm a mechanic. And he says, well, that's what I want you to do. And so you know what he did? He went out the first week of every month, and he parked out in the parking lot, and he came with a bunch of oil, and any of the single moms or the widows or anybody that needed their car fixed, they would pull over there and he would fix their car, and the church would help fund it. And they served people by fixing their cars. And so, yeah, you may not sing, you may not play guitar. That doesn't mean that the church doesn't need you. That doesn't mean that you don't have gifts and talents that could be used to glorify God, to minister to people and help. Man, there's so much that we all can do. There's so much that we're needed for. So you can't say that you have nothing to offer. Let me just help you out for 1 minute. If you have a thought in your mind that says, I have nothing to offer, I'm not important, I have no gifts and talents, that is a lie that the enemy wants you to believe. He wants you to believe that. Why? Because if you believe that, then you won't ever become a part of what's happening. Or maybe you thought like, oh, my role is not as important as other people's role, and so it's not a big deal if I'm there or if I'm not. And there, is there even place for me? The church has been going for a while now, and they probably have everything under control. No, look, we got places everywhere. We need people everywhere. And so, yes, we stand up here and go, yeah, we want you. But look how Paul says it. Have you ever felt like you're not significant any type of way? Just really pay attention to how he says this. This is verse 22 through 24. It says, in fact, some parts of the body seem the weakest and the least important are actually the most important and necessary. The parts are regarded as less honorable, and those we clothe with the greatness of care. So we carefully protect those parts that should not be seen, while the more honorable parts do not require this special care. So God has put the body together such that extra honor and care is given to those parts that have less dignity. And that's really confusing. And I know you're sitting there going, like, I don't understand what he's trying to say, so I'm going to help you out because I'm a good pastor. He's basically saying, look, there's a lot of things that happen that most people don't see. I understand that you are watching what's happening right now, but there is so much that happens before any of this happens that you don't even know about. There are people that work behind the scenes that you don't even know exist. You don't know what work they're doing, and you don't even know how many hours they put in so that I can stand here and present a message to you. And they don't get any credit, and they don't look for credit. I'm just telling you, these people exist. There's 5 days of work to make Sunday morning happen. And most of those people are not me. I know that shocks you. I know that you're like, no, it's all about the pastor. No, I'm telling you, there's so many more important people out there working, doing things to make church happen. It is amazing. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, they're probably more important than me. And I'm not saying that the pastor role is not important. That's not what I mean at all. But I'm saying without them, without those people doing that work that's unseen, church would not function. It wouldn't function. A lot of people showed up to help in the outreach, but there was a lot of work that happened way before that outreach to make that outreach happen. Those people were vital for that being successful. And they had to go shopping, and they had to do stuff and organize and flyers. And I'm just telling you, if you've ever felt like, oh, I'm just somebody in the back and it's no big deal. No, that's not true. Even if you're not seen, you are so important, and your role is important, and what you do is important. Not just the people on the stage are important. I know this is the most seen, but that's what he's saying. It's the innermost parts that are the most vulnerable that really make the body go. You can't, let's put it this way. If I were to chop off my arm that you see, I would survive. But if you take out my heart, I die. But you don't see my heart. You see my arm. And so those are the people that have to do that. And I just believe that sometimes we struggle with what God's calling us to do. I don't know how else to say it but this. The body needs every one of us. It needs every one of us. And if you've ever felt like I'm insignificant or I don't have a place, you're wrong. We're all part of the body doing what we can and what we're created to do. And God has created you for a certain purpose and a certain reason. And when this church works together, guess what? It's something beautiful. When we all pitch in and we all help and there's unity, it's beautiful. Why? Because we touch lives. We're able to help heal people, bring restoration to people. We get to accomplish vision and mission. And there's so much more that gets to happen when we all work together in unity. And not only are we able to help others, but we're able to help each other. So yes, we care about the people that aren't in this church, but we want to help the people in this church too. And there's unity in the body. And I just want to say that there's nothing that the enemy hates more than if there's unity within the body. He would love to separate us and cause conflict and separate us, because if we're not together, then we're not as effective. And so we need to have unity, and he hates unity. And 1 Corinthians even puts it this way. It says, this makes harmony for the members so that all the members care for each other. If one part suffers, all parts suffer with it. If one part is honored, then all parts are glad. This is basically saying hey, we're together. It's not like we're the Sunday morning church and that's the kids' church over there and they're on their own and we're on their own. But it's when we're all working together that we all are honored or we all suffer. What does that mean? That means if there's one person suffering or if there's one ministry hurting, the whole body hurts. That means when you come into this church and you see somebody and they look down and out, you can't just walk past them and go, that's their problem. That's their hurt, that's their pain that they got to figure out. It needs to break you inside the fact that somebody else that's part of the body is hurting. And you should walk over there and go hey man, I see that you're hurting, I see that you're down, and that hurts me that you're hurting. How can I help you? And if a ministry struggles, then it doesn't just affect one person or one thing, it hurts the body. But let me tell you, yesterday we were successful, right? We gave out 230 packs, right? And that was the outreach ministry that did that, but it's not just the outreach ministry that gets the glory. You know why? Because in there was a little card and it had all of our information. And so even though we did a good thing through the outreach ministry, maybe a family had 3 kids, a husband and a wife, and so the 3 kids come and now the kids ministry is blessed. And then the women's ministry tomorrow is blessed, and the men's ministry next week, next Monday, I got you, right? And look, the whole church is blessed when one does good. And so it's not an individual thing, but it's a body working in harmony and unity together. So when we suffer together. And when we do good together. We all, guess what, affect the church. Whether you believe it or not, you have an effect on the church. And our effect on the church can be what? Positive and negative. And you get to decide what you want to be. You can be positive and you can bring a lot of great things to the church, or you can tear a church down. And yes, one person can be devastating to a church. And I just want to explain that Paul does all this time. And he says, look, it's the body and everybody's necessary and each person is unique and they all work together as one body. And he goes on to say there's unity and harmony in that. And then that's why in the 13th chapter when he flips over, he goes, that's why everything the church does needs to be done in one thing, love. Because he understands that if it's not all done in love, then it's going to be damaging to the church. And so he writes a whole chapter saying, look, you have to do everything in love so you have a positive effect on the church. The church operates in God, then God is honored always. God's love has to be for everyone. When you are a part of a church like this, you have to be loving to everybody. 1 Corinthians 13, 1-3 says it this way. If I could speak all the languages of the earth and of angels, but don't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. I mean, look, you can do a lot of things. You can say a lot of things. But if it's not in love, you're just noise. If I had the gift of prophecy and understood God's secret plans and process all knowledge, and if I had such faith I could move mountains, but I didn't love others, I'd be nothing. It doesn't matter how many gifts and talents you have. It doesn't matter what you can do, but if you don't have love, you're nothing. If I gave everything to the poor and even sacrificed my body, if I could boast about it, but I didn't love others, guess what? I've gained nothing. Even what we did yesterday, handing out all those packs, if we didn't do it in love, it was nothing. It was just a giveaway. But when you add the love of God into the giveaway, guess what? It becomes ministry. It becomes serving others, and it has a positive effect. Why? Because I love doing it. Don't you know that you can stand out here by a door and you can hug somebody, but if you do it in love, there's a difference in it? We don't pay those people to go out there and hug. We don't pay Josh to ride around on a golf cart, all right? Those people love you. And so they do it out of love. We don't pay the person to come up early and make coffee for you. They make coffee for you. Why? Because they love you. And they know that some of y'all can't stand sitting here listening to me without your coffee. You know what I mean? So they're saving me too. And what does that mean? That means that if you want to be a part of church, you got to support not only the people, but you got to support the leadership. You got to support. That means you have to speak positively about each other. And that's your choice. No one's going to force you to do it. And this is what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about some real church problems here. Okay? Maybe you woke up, you're a little grumpy. Right? It was early, you were a little grumpy, you showed up to church, you're like, I got to go get some coffee. I got to go get some coffee so I can sit in church. And you walk over and you get to the coffee bar and you pour the coffee and you drink the coffee and this coffee ain't strong. This is weak. You know what I mean? This is weak coffee. And you're upset because the coffee ain't the way that you want it to be. But let me tell you, that's you. That's your choice. You can rather be upset and complain because the coffee is not the way that you want it to be. Or you can think like, hey, somebody got up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, got ready, drove up here by 7:30, walked over there and made coffee because they loved you and they wanted to make sure you had coffee this morning. And I just want to tell you right now, while you're grumpy making those negative comments, the person that made the coffee is probably about 10 feet from you going like, man, they didn't appreciate a thing I did. Next week, guess what? You ain't getting no coffee. You know what I mean? Look, we're going to run out of cups right when you show up. You know, I'm just telling you, this is church stuff right here. You can decide how you want to say things and what effect you want to have. You can walk over there, drink that coffee, and go, man, this is the best cup of coffee. Thank you so much for coming here and making sure I have coffee. Don't you know how powerful your words are? Your words are so powerful and in both directions. The Bible tells us to use our words to edify, right? To lift people up. But we have the choice to do that, or we can tear people down. It's up to us. And let me tell you, sometimes it's easier to tear people down, but that's not what we're supposed to do with our words. And so we are as responsible to keep the peace as much as we can through what? Through love. And so when people walk in here, you have the choice. You can say, oh, it's great to see you. Or you can walk up there and be like, man, I'm so happy you're here this morning. I love you so much. And we're just so glad to have you as part of this church. And that's your choice. We're not going to force you. And look, Ephesians 4:29 says it this way. Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything, not some things, let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words can be an encouragement to those who will hear them. I wonder, when's the last time you went up to somebody and just told them something good. That you just went up to them and just appreciated them and encouraged them and just, I see you here every week doing this, and I just want to tell you I'm so thankful that you do that. I'm so thankful that you're here. Look, I'm just telling you right now, okay, if you don't know, we're on temporary internet. Internet's coming this week. Thank the Lord for everything, okay? Look, but you can walk over to that check-in counter and you can be like, oh, the internet's not working, the check-in thing's down, and I had to wait in line to check in my kid, and I'm out of this church because they don't got their stuff together because the check-in ain't working. You can. Or you can go like, thank God that people give up their morning to come up here to watch my kid so that I can come into this Sunday morning service kid-free to learn and grow and enjoy a service. And we just thank them for that. Look, love has to reign within the body, because if there's always love and love is always reigning, there will always be unity. Love does not divide. Love brings together. And let me tell you, there's nothing better in this world than God's love. And the enemy doesn't like that. He doesn't want harmony. He doesn't want us working together in love. He wants to divide and division and strife within the church. And I'm telling you, we got to fight that. You got to fight that with us. That's part of being a part of this church. Is if you see any of that and if you hear any of that, it's up to you too to go like, hey, that's not love. That's not love. We got to be better than that. Let's be honest though. And I'll never be one to stand up here and go, if you come to this church and you become part of this church, you'll never have conflict in your life. I'm not going to lie to you. There's conflict in every church. Don't let them paint that picture for you. If there's people, there's conflict, okay? And I'm going to tell you, if you become part of this church, there's going to be times that people are going to step on your toes and you're going to be hurting. And I want to be honest. Sometimes in church we find ourselves in conflict. But that's why if you're part of this church, we expect you to handle conflict in the right way. We expect you to handle it and resolve it. And it doesn't have to be difficult. And God makes it so simple. And Jesus gives us the way to do that. And if you've never heard, it's Matthew 18. And it's just a couple verses starting at 15. It says, if another believer sins against you, if they hurt your feelings, they do something against you. Here we go. Go privately. Not without making a bunch of noise, not without telling everybody. Go privately and point out the offense. What this is saying is if somebody hurts you, it is your responsibility as the hurt person to go to that person and say, you hurt me. What that does not mean is you go to that person to tell that person to tell that person in hopes that eventually it goes far enough through the church that it gets to the person that hurts you. Okay, that's not how we handle conflict. That is not the right way. You go personally. It is on you to let them know that they have hurt you. Hey, I just want to let you know. You may not know, you may not have meant it. I just want to let you know what you said or what you did hurt me. And I guarantee you 99.9% of the time they'll go, oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me for doing that. And that's how easy it can be. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but it says if the other person listens and confesses, if they apologize, what? You've won that person back. There's unity in the church again. But if you are unsuccessful, take one or two others and take them back with you and do it again, so that everything you say may be confirmed by 2 or 3 witnesses. What does that mean? That means you have to try at least twice with that person. You can't walk up to them and say, hey, you hurt me. And they go, no, I didn't. And you walk away and then that's it. No, you have to go back a second time with some witnesses so that people will see that you tried to do the right thing. So that if they spread rumors or they'll be witnesses. No, they did the right thing. And if that person still refuses to listen, take your case to the church. If he or she won't accept the church's decision, treat that person as a pagan, a corrupt tax collector, kick them out, never let them come. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do all that. But look, what it's saying is it's up to you too. Don't make things bigger than they have to be. People will hurt your feelings. There will be conflict, but you can simply go to them and say, hey, I just want to let you know that you hurt me. Allow them the chance to apologize and to make it right so there's unity. If not, you go a second time. But let me tell you, going to people that weren't involved in it, that don't know about it, that aren't the person, and telling them all about it cannot fix your problem. all that does is it causes division within the church. There's lack of unity. The only person that can fix that for you is the person that harms you. Also, it doesn't mean go run to the pastor every time somebody makes you upset. Right? You got to go yourself in private. Hey, this is between me and you. I want to try to apologize and make this right. Now, if it doesn't work, then yeah, involve us. We'll be happy to help you. But that's not step 1. That's step 3. Here's the thing. It's just as much our responsibility to let them know as it is for them to make it right. And so if you don't tell them that they ever hurt you, don't expect them to come fix it, because they probably don't know that they've hurt you. And it makes it that much more our responsibility if we have truth in our life. I'm sorry, I just ruined your life right now by telling you what that scripture said, because now you're responsible to do it in the right way. Look, people are people, but it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be church-wide that somebody hurts you. You can go right to that person and handle it. See, a church with truth has responsibility, and the responsibility is to handle it. I know that's hard. Here's why it's hard. Because the scariest thing in the world is conflict. If you're like me, you're scared of snakes, conflict, and birds. Okay? Those are the 3 things. The rest of the world's cool, but those 3 things I'm not going to mess with. I don't like conflict. I know a lot of you don't like conflict, and that's why it's so hard to go to somebody and say, hey, you hurt me. Why? Because you're afraid that they're going to just reject your feelings, make you feel like you don't matter, or what happened wasn't real. And that scares us. But that is still the first step according to Scripture. It's still something that you have to overcome, and you have to go and say, hey, this is really hard for me to say, because I don't want you to think that I'm just trying to complain about you or tattle on you. And so I'm coming to you personally and saying, hey, when you do that, it hurts me. It hurts me and it affects me, and I just appreciate it if you wouldn't do that again. And I bet you they will apologize. Why? Because we're preventing damage, not just to your life, you're preventing damage to the body of Christ, the church itself. See, I want to take a moment and I want to demonstrate what happens when we do some of this stuff. And I know some of y'all came up here and you saw this and they're like, oh, this is such a holy church. They're going to talk about the cross and all that kind of stuff, but that's not us. Okay, look, this is somebody I want to introduce you to. This is my friend, Billy. Okay? If your name's Billy this morning, I apologize. I'm not talking about you. Okay? I try to pick a name that I didn't know anybody who came here. But I want to talk a little bit about Billy, and I want to demonstrate exactly what happens in the church world. See, Billy's been a member here for a while, and he just got involved, and he's just a great guy. Billy's one of our best servers. Okay, he gets the T-shirt and all that kind of stuff. And usually conflict isn't a big thing. It doesn't start off real huge. Usually it's something small. And so here's Aaron, our men's pastor, and he's sometimes not so great. And he was at the door, right? And Billy was there, and he was kind of just hanging out, waiting for some people to show up. And here comes Aaron. Aaron's showing up, and he walks in, and he walks right past Billy. Doesn't say hi to Billy, not a high five, not a hug, not a hey, how you doing? He just walks right past Billy, because Aaron's rude, and he comes over to me because we're friends, right? We're best friends, and so he comes up, and he gives me a hug. Well, Billy's like, well, what the heck, man? What are you trying to say that you walked right past me and you went and you hugged Justin? And I'm just telling you what that speaks is that Aaron's unwelcoming. Aaron don't care if I'm here or if I'm not here. He doesn't care about me. He's not welcoming to me. He cares about the people that he cares about, and that's all he cares about. Thanks a lot, Aaron. But I just want to show you that, it has an effect on people. And I just want to be honest. Maybe you've been into a place that you didn't feel welcomed. I'm going to do this. Look how good I am. And it hurts, doesn't it? Have you ever been unwelcomed somewhere? It hurts. It affects us. And so Billy kind of just shakes it off. He's like, okay, well, maybe it was an accident. Maybe he didn't see me. I'm only 6'4", and, I'm a big old dude, but maybe he missed me. And so they get ready, and they're about to serve, and they serve on the same team, and it's getting stressful because service time's creeping up on them, and they're not set up yet. And Aaron gets a little, hangry sometimes, and he hasn't eaten his taco this morning, and he just kind of goes like, get out of the way, I got it. And he just kind of just yells at him. I mean, not huge, but just kind of like, man, just get out of the way, I'll do it myself. And Billy's like, dang, dude, I'm just trying to help. I came to this church, and I was told, like, we want you, we need you. You're talented and you're gifted, and it doesn't matter, and we just want you to ask, what can I do? And I'm trying to live that out, and here you are, you're just downright, you're rude. Aaron's a rude dude. And I'm just telling you, sometimes, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but if anybody's ever been rude to you, it hurts. Nobody likes it. And so he's like, all right, man, well, you can do it yourself. And he walks off, and he's hurt, and he's upset, and Aaron's kind of doing his thing. But what you don't know about Billy is Billy's got kind of like a checkered past. He's done some stuff in his past that he's not proud of, that he's trying to overcome, and he's trying to change. And really that's why he's here at Restoration Church, because he heard that this was the second chance church. And he heard the vision and the mission. He's just like, man, that's what I need in my life. I need that second chance. I need that start over. And I'm buying in, and I'm doing that. But Aaron over here, he found out exactly what Billy did in his past. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe Billy did that. And he goes to his bigger little brother, David, who's in charge of our serve team. He's like, bro, do you know what Billy did? I don't know if you want him serving in here because he did all this stuff in his past. And David's like, nah, man, you're right. That's horrible. And David's a judgy dude. And so he didn't want to let him serve. And so, thank God I'm here, because I'm the judge-free dude. I got grace. And I'm like, no, Billy can serve here. So I'm the good pastor. He's the judgy one. Just know that. And so, look, I'm just saying, they start talking. Have you ever been gossiped about? It don't feel good to have someone talk about you. And here's the reality of gossip, is usually it's not even true. Usually they've taken a part of a story and they've twisted it into the way that they want it to be portrayed. And I'm just saying, it hurts to be gossiped about. And so it doesn't end there. Billy's just like, man, I came and I thought you were somebody that was going to help me. And I told you what was going on in my life. And you used that against me. And the reality is, you're just a bully. And here's the thing. Nobody likes a bully. And I'll say this. Bullies hurt. They hurt people. And they do it purposely. And I would not in any way or at any time in my life want to be a kid today. You know why? Because they have social media and the internet, and you don't even have to be face-to-face to be a bully anymore. It used to be you had to actually say something to them face-to-face. Now you can do it from across the world, right? And you can terrorize someone's life via social media. And so it's hard. And so here's all these things that's happened to Billy. Let me tell you what happened to Billy. Billy left the church. Why? Because to him, the church is unwelcoming, rude, gossipy, and bullies. And so he ain't sticking around for that. I just want to be honest. These are all decisions that we have to make. How do we want to be? And by being this, we didn't just affect Billy, and we didn't just affect Aaron, but we affected the church. The whole church is affected by this. Why? Because Billy knows people. And Billy's going to go tell people, like, don't go to that church. Why? They're unwelcoming, rude, gossipy bullies at that church. And now you cause damage to a body. But y'all are blessed people because y'all got a good pastor. And you're going to be sitting there, and Aaron's like, man, thank God my best friend is the pastor there. And he did a great message on conflict, and I know exactly what I got to do. I got to go find Billy, and I got to make things right. And so Aaron goes over and he finds Billy, goes, man, don't leave the church. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have been a bully, and I apologize for that. And I shouldn't have told anybody stuff about you and gossip about you, and I'm so sorry. And he goes up to him and he's like, I'm gonna fix it. And he does Matthew 18. And he's not rude anymore. And every time he sees Billy, he gives him a hug and he's welcoming to him. And he's removed all the labels that were on Billy. And Billy actually was like, man, that's really great that you came and apologized to me, and I forgive you. But here's the problem that I just want you to understand. You may not be able to see it, but there's still some damage in Billy's life. Even though Aaron's gone and apologized, and even if he said the right things, and even if Billy has said, yeah, man, we're good, sometimes if the hurt is deep enough, there's still damage left behind there. It's not that Billy is unforgiving, and it's not that Billy wants to hold on to it. It's just that sometimes hurts leave some damage. And the nail that went in left a mark. And now he's got to not only just forgive, but he's got to get with God, and he's got to heal from what's happened. And it's hard to fill the holes that are created. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, sometimes Christians get bad labels as like hypocrites and the only army that kills its wounded and all these different things. And I'm just saying, why did we get this? Because this stuff happens. And I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but a lot of times new people come to church and we go, hey man, we're really welcomed, glad you're here. We welcome you. And they go, yeah, it's been a while since I've been in church. And we go, well, why is that? He goes, well, at my last church, they hurt me. And people walk away from church from time. Why? Not because they're lazy or they didn't like church or anything, because the people in the church hurt them and didn't make it right and didn't resolve the conflict. And so they go, man, I don't need this in my life. These church people aren't any different than the world people. And so they leave. And the worst thing ever that could happen, imagine if Billy was a brand new believer and he gave his life to Jesus, and that was his first experience of Christian life and church life. He's going like, man, I thought this was supposed to be the new way. The world treats me better than those people treat me. Now you didn't just damage Restoration Church, but now you've damaged the body and the whole. And I've seen this happen. And it's not that there's not unforgiveness. It's just simply damage was actually done. Damage was done, and you may have lived out Matthew 18, but it's really hard. This brings us to the last part that I want to talk to you about. If you become a part of Restoration Church, and even if you don't, and if you're part of the body of Christ, here's something that you need to know. That we are all responsible to grow the church. We're all responsible for that. Sometimes, we think that's on the pastors to grow the church. But that's not exactly true. And you may hear that and you go, man, I'm just, all they care about are numbers and filling the seats. And you may have gotten that impression, and I don't want you to get the wrong impression of us. We're absolutely concerned about that. So don't think that we're not. Okay? We are concerned about numbers and filling the seats. And let me explain why before you think the wrong thing. We are absolutely worried about how many people are in this church and how many seats are filled. Because if you are truly being the church, if you are truly impacting lives, if you are truly living out our mission and our vision, you will see growth because love changes lives. And so guess what? To us, we look at that because that's a measuring stick of effectiveness. If we don't see growth, then we're not being effective. If we stand up here and go, we don't care about numbers and we don't care about people filling seats and we don't care about that, we're basically saying we don't care if people show up or not. We don't care if our ministries impact people's lives. We don't care if we're helping people. We don't care if they show up, they show up. If they like my message, they like it. If they don't, they don't. We don't care. It's just whatever. No, we do care. We absolutely do care. Are we impacting people's lives? Are we helping people restore? Are we giving second chances? Are we changing? Are we being effective in the community? Because the result of doing that is people will come. And so Yes, that's how we know that we are a healthy, successful church, and our vision is by growth. Matter of fact, if you don't believe that you're a part of it, I'm going to ruin your life with a verse. Luke 14:23 says this, so his master said, go out into the country lanes behind the hedges and urge everyone you find to come. Why? So that the house will be full. You should care. You should care. Why? Because there's so many people out there that need Jesus Christ. They may not need me, but they need Jesus Christ. And I'm just telling you, look, he went and he said, go out and tell all the people he invited first were representatives of the Jewish nation, right? And they all denied the invitation. He goes, you know what? Go find whoever will listen. And that should be your motto. Look, if someone in your life is willing to listen to you and is willing to come, you should want them here. You should be telling everybody. Outreach is not an event. Yes, we had an outreach event yesterday, and yes, it was great, but outreach isn't an event. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that everywhere you go to people and you go, hey, I just want to invite you to a place that you'll be loved. I see that you're suffering. I see that you're hurt, and I have something that will help with that. It's called a church family that will love you. And then it's just simple as this, Mark 16:15. And then he told them, go out into the world, preach the good news to who? To everyone. There's not a person we shouldn't be telling about Jesus Christ. There's not a person we shouldn't be inviting to this church. And that's how we live it out. But it's not up to one person. It's up to the body. I include myself in the body. So I'm saying all of us together working towards a common goal. Why don't you stand with me this morning as we wrap up? If you're wondering, would this place even want me here? The answer is yes, we do. If you're wondering, do I have a place in it? Yeah, you absolutely do. Matter of fact, we need you a lot. Why? Because you have influence, you have talents, you have skills, and there's people that are hurting, and we want your help to reach them. And so you're needed. But here's the thing. It's not about a t-shirt. It's not about just saying yes. We want you to pray about it. We want to make sure that God has brought you here. Look, if it's just for a person or for a building or for flashing things, you won't be here very long. But if you know with all of your heart and your mind that God has told you that this is the place for you, that you belong here, that He wants you here, let me tell you, you will have an impact in this church. You will have success in this church. You will find love in this church. You will help people. You will bring people to this church. But you will only be sold into what we're doing. You will only support it if you know that you belong here. And so, yes, we absolutely want every single one of you. We would never tell any of you to go away or that we don't want you here or that you don't have a place here. You are home if you want to be home. But pray about it. The band's going to sing a song here in a minute. I'm going to pray over everybody. But start praying and saying, God, is this what you want for me? Is this where you're bringing me to? Is this who you want me to be? Because if it is, we're so happy. We're so happy to have you here. And if not, we still love you, and you can come here anytime you want, and we will love you no matter what. No matter what, because you're still part of the body. We're still family. Let's pray. Lord, we just thank you so much for everything that you're doing. God, you're so good to us. You teach us so much. You love us so much. You help us so much. And so we just ask that you continue to move in us. But Lord, just let us know right now if this is the place for us. Lord, are you calling us to a new family? Are you calling us to a new place, Lord? A place that you have prepared for us. A place to serve and a place to love and a family to call our own. If it is, Lord, help me to have the courage to join it, Lord. Not just with words, but with my actions and my intentions and my love and my strength and my time and everything that I have, Lord. Help me to be involved and to help the leadership and to support with my resources and my attendance. But Lord, I need you to speak it into me because I don't want it to be our decision, but your decision. Continue to move in this place, Lord, and have your way in every situation. In your name we pray. Amen. Hey, real quick before you leave, I just want to let you know, next week we're going to talk about spiritual growth and how you can spiritually grow within this church and the need to spiritually grow. And our assistant pastor, David Shobe, is going to share that with you. But also, there's women's ministry tomorrow night. Don't miss out on that. We're going to have a worship night coming up, men's night coming up. Just come and see and enjoy. Our youth are going to be here Wednesday. Be a part of our church. See everything that there is to see. We love y'all so much. If you need help, Brother Henry and Brother Clark will be down here to pray for you. We'll pray for you. If you've never met us, we want to hug your necks and meet you. If not, you can be dismissed whenever you're ready. If you want to worship a little bit, they'll sing a couple songs with you. Thank y'all so much. Have a great day.